Hey guys, I am a chronic procrastinator and I was still able to get a 4.0 GPA in college. So today I'm going to give you 5 actually realistic ways for you to beat procrastination when you're trying to study, getting motivated to study, whatever you want to call it. If you do these 5 things, I really do think that you'll be able to beat procrastination, get that good grade, and kill it in college or in high school. These tips apply for everything else. If you don't know me already, my name is Sade, also known as the Scholarship Junkie, and I help students across the country pay for college and learn how to succeed at it as well. You can find extra resources and things like that at my website, The Scholarship Collective, which is at thescholarshipcollective.com. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into it. The first thing may sound very basic, but it's actually pretty underrated and people don't do it as much as they probably should. The first thing is that you always want to plan your study session. When I say plan it, I don't mean just set a time, set it and forget it. I mean, say, okay, I'm going to study from 1 to 4, but this is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish in that time. I'm going to get done mathematics homework. I'm also going to do 6 problems from social studies and etc., etc. If you have a realistic goal of the things you can get done in the time span of studying that you're looking to accomplish, you're going to be way more motivated to get that stuff done because you might realize that you set up 3 hours to do something and it actually took you 2 for the stuff that you actually had to get done and needed to actually do that day. Sometimes we put this unbearing load on ourselves to get done with things quicker or get ahead a crazy amount. You don't need to do that. You just need to do enough to keep yourself slightly ahead of the curve, but not to the point where you're 6 chapters ahead of everybody else. Don't be busy just to be busy. Schedule your study sessions so that you're being productive with the week's work or 2 weeks work ahead. Don't go crazy, because I feel like people, they start something and then they go way past what they originally intended to do because they didn't really have an intention to do anything in the beginning of the session. Always schedule your study session. Number 2 is very simple, but underrated. Always eat before you do your study session. That sounds crazy. Some people may use it as like a revenge, like, oh, I'm not going to finish until I start eating something. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. The whole revenge thing where you like force yourself to study and so you can get a reward to eat, I personally don't think that works. I think to have a focused mind and a focused body, you need to move your body and you need to fuel your body. So, I always say you should definitely eat something before you do your study session, for sure. Number 3, this one's going to be controversial, but I genuinely think that you should never study in your room, right? Like if you're in college, that's very easy to do. All you need to do is go to the library, or you need to go to your building, your business building or your science building. There's so many places you could study. Your room and your house genuinely give you so many distractions, whether you have roommates or not. It really does demotivate you a little bit when you're always constantly in your room and that's your only association with studying is your room. Then you become this person who can't detach themselves when they finally do get back to their room and are trying to relax and chill. If you're in high school, then it may be a little bit different, right? Because you have to be home, but same concept. If you can try not to study in your actual bedroom, in your bed, but study at a kitchen table or study, outside on the patio or whatever, like you can put yourself in a better mindset so that when it's time to go back to your room and it's time to relax, you can actually do that because you're not associating your bed with textbooks anymore. Number 4, you need to always schedule breaks. If you're having a session from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you need to schedule time in there to take a break. You cannot study for 3 hours straight. You will probably in the middle start to decline and diminishing returns on what you can actually remember. I recommend if you're doing a 3-hour study session, you should, if you're really pressed for time, you can do a 55-5, like 55 minutes of hard work, 5 minutes of rest, 55 minutes of hard work, 5 minutes of rest, and so on. If you're not super pressed for time, and you can take a 10 to 15 minute break, 45 minutes, 50 minutes on completely exclusively doing that one thing you're trying to do, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of rest. When you're on that rest, I'm going to say something controversial again. It's okay to use your phone. People say don't use your phone. It distracts you. You get off track, whatever. Here's your solution to that. And here's the number 5 way that you can actually beat this procrastination in that moment. When you are taking a break, if you do decide to use your phone, you need to give yourself a time limit on that phone. Put your timer on for not as long as your break is, right? But as long as you want to use your phone. So if you have a 15-minute break that you're giving yourself, use your phone for only 5 minutes or 10 minutes of that break. Don't use your full break on your phone, but still use your phone, because the idea of you putting your phone in another room or keeping the phone away from you entirely, it's just not realistic. Most people need to have their phones on them, need to have their phones around them, and it will honestly create more anxiety if you probably don't look at your phone for a certain amount of time if you are someone who has people depending on them. So sometimes not using your phone is not an option or not really something that makes people comfortable, and that's okay. I use my phone during breaks all the time, but I always set a timer, so I'm like, in 5 minutes the phone goes back down. As long as you do that, you do those 5 things, I really think that you can beat procrastination and actually get your shit done during your study session. So hopefully this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, make sure you go in the comments and let me know what you enjoyed in the video. And if you didn't like it, make sure you tell me so I can improve. This is all a learning journey for me. I'm new to YouTube, and I appreciate every single person that views this video. So hopefully you liked it, and make sure you like and subscribe if you did.